All new at 5:30, a TSA agent at the Buffalo Niagara International Airport lands in hot water. The airport security officer is under arrest on felony drug charges tonight. And News 4's Luke Moretti is digging up more details on this investigation. Luke?
Yeah, Jackie, authorities tell us the investigation got rolling after information was developed by a Cheektowaga police officer. Now, a federal security worker is in hot water with the law.
Under the Trump administration, we're finally treating the cartels as the core national security threat that they really are. The cartels are waging war on America, and just as I promised in the campaign, we're waging war on them like they've never seen before. All you have to do is turn on your television and you'll see what's happening here.
March 22nd, 2025, Miami International Airport, Terminal J. A woman in her mid-30s approached TSA screening checkpoint number 7 with a carry-on bag and a nervous smile. Inside that bag, 12 kilograms of pure cocaine vacuum sealed into the lining, worth $420,000 on the street. She'd been told exactly which checkpoint to use, exactly which TSA agent would be working, and exactly what signal to give. The agent, Marcus Thompson, a 6-year TSA veteran with commendations for excellent service, waved her through the metal detector. Her bag went through the X-ray machine. He glanced at the screen showing the suspicious density, then looked at her. She touched her left ear, the signal. Thompson smiled and waved her through. "Have a great flight, ma'am." What Thompson didn't know? FBI had been watching him for 3 months. Hidden cameras captured everything. The signal, the wave through, the 12 kilograms that should have been detected. Because Marcus Thompson wasn't just a TSA agent. He was one of 23 TSA employees at Miami International who'd been on the Sinaloa Cartel's payroll for 4 years, turning America's busiest airport into a drug superhighway. Over 4 years, these 23 trusted security officers, the very people tasked with protecting air travel, had waved through $1.8 billion worth of drugs, cocaine, methamphetamine, fentanyl, all flying through TSA checkpoints while agents who'd sworn to protect the public looked the other way for cash. The cartel paid them between $30,000 and $100,000 per month. And in exchange, Miami International became the safest route for drug trafficking in America because the people checking bags were working for the traffickers. How did the FBI expose and arrest an entire network of corrupt TSA agents without causing panic in America's second busiest airport? Hit like, comment, and subscribe before we reveal the operation that proved nobody is above the law. Miami International Airport processes over 52 million passengers annually. On any given day, over 140,000 people pass through its terminals. TSA screeners check hundreds of thousands of bags, scan countless passengers, and maintain the security that makes air travel safe. Americans trust TSA to be the last line of defense against threats. The Sinaloa Cartel's strategy was methodical. They identified TSA agents with vulnerabilities. Once a vulnerable agent was identified, the cartel made contact. The approach was always the same. Someone claiming to be a business consultant would strike up a conversation during the agent's break. They'd express sympathy for the agent's financial problems. Then they'd make the offer, $30,000 per month, paid in cash, just for occasionally letting specific passengers through without thorough screening. The passengers would be clearly identified. All the agent had to do was wave them through when they gave a signal. Easy money for minimal risk. The system was sophisticated. Mules received detailed instructions on which checkpoint to use, what time to arrive, and what signal to give the corrupt agent. The agents had different roles. Some worked X-ray machines and would miss seeing drugs clearly visible in scans. Others conducted physical bag checks and would deliberately avoid finding contraband hidden in luggage. A few supervised checkpoints and would pull aside passengers for additional screening, but only to warn them their bags had been randomly selected by honest agents who hadn't been corrupted. The scale was staggering. Over 4 years, these 23 agents waved through an estimated 3,400 drug mules carrying an average of 8 to 15 kilograms each. Total, 34 tons of narcotics passed through TSA checkpoints. The street value, $1.8 billion. and it all flew commercial airlines to destinations across America: New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, Atlanta, Dallas, distributed from Miami to every major city. The investigation that would destroy this network began in November 2024 with a random K9 inspection. A drug-sniffing dog alerted on a passenger who'd already passed through TSA screening at Checkpoint 7. The passenger was detained, and a thorough search revealed 10 kilograms of cocaine hidden in her carry-on bag, a bag that had been X-rayed and passed through Checkpoint 7 without issue. FBI was called immediately. Agents reviewed the checkpoint's X-ray footage and saw something impossible. The cocaine was clearly visible on the scan, a dense mass exactly where drugs were hidden. But the TSA agent monitoring that screen, Marcus Thompson, had waved the passenger through without a second look. FBI opened a preliminary inquiry into Thompson. Financial records showed deposits totaling $280,000 over the previous 10 months, far more than his $48,000 annual TSA salary could explain. Federal Bureau of Investigation coordinated with Department of Homeland Security Office of Inspector General and Transportation Security Administration's Office of Inspection. They couldn't alert Transportation Security Administration management. If word leaked that agents were under investigation, corrupt agents would be warned and destroy evidence. FBI also intercepted communications from cartel coordinators discussing Miami routes and airport contacts. Wiretaps revealed code words for corrupt agents and discussions about payments, schedules, and which checkpoints were safe on which shifts. The evidence was overwhelming. Miami International's security had been systematically compromised. By February 2025, FBI had identified all 23 corrupt TSA agents and 17 baggage handlers. March 28, 2025. 5 a.m., FBI and DHS tactical teams positioned around Miami International Airport. The operation, codenamed Checkpoint Betrayal, would execute before the morning shift began, when terminals were less crowded and disruption could be minimized. At 5:30 a.m., as corrupt TSA agents and baggage handlers arrived for their shifts, FBI moved. Agents were arrested in parking lots, at employee entrances, and in locker rooms. Some were taken into custody before they even entered the terminal. Others were arrested at their checkpoint positions as they prepared for the day's work. Marcus Thompson was arrested at Checkpoint 7 at 5:47 a.m. He just clocked in when FBI agents approached with weapons drawn. Marcus Thompson, FBI, you're under arrest for conspiracy to distribute narcotics and corruption of a public official. Thompson didn't resist. He just closed his eyes and nodded. He'd known this day would eventually come. Across the airport, similar arrests unfolded. 23 TSA agents and 17 baggage handlers were taken into custody within 90 minutes. Airport operations were briefly disrupted as checkpoints were temporarily closed and staffed with agents from other TSA facilities. By 8 a.m., all checkpoints were reopened with non-corrupt staff, and passengers moved through security normally, most never knowing what had just happened. FBI executed search warrants at all 40 suspects' homes. The evidence found was damning. Hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash hidden in closets, luxury items purchased with corruption proceeds, encrypted phones with messages from cartel coordinators, and notebooks where some agents had documented every payoff received. One agent had $340,000 cash in a bedroom safe. Another had purchased a $180,000 Porsche and a vacation home in the Keys. The most shocking discovery came from Thompson's home computer. He'd kept detailed records, dates, amounts, which mules he'd waved through, and how much he'd been paid per incident. Whether this was insurance against the cartel or simply careful record keeping, it became evidence documenting 4 years of systematic corruption. The ledger showed he'd personally let through 147 drug mules and earned $1.4 million. March 29, 2025. Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem held a press conference at DHS headquarters in Washington, D.C., alongside Attorney General Pamela Bondi, FBI Director Christopher Wray, and TSA Administrator David Pekoski. Yesterday, federal law enforcement arrested 23 TSA agents and 17 baggage handlers at Miami International Airport for operating a drug trafficking network on behalf of the Sinaloa Cartel. For 4 years, these individuals betrayed the public trust, turning airport security into a drug corridor. They allowed $1.8 billion in narcotics to pass through checkpoints that should have stopped them. This ends today. The charges were severe. All 40 defendants faced federal conspiracy to distribute narcotics, bribery of public officials, and corruption charges carrying 15 to 40 years in prison. The evidence was so overwhelming that 34 defendants accepted plea agreements within weeks, receiving sentences ranging from 18 to 32 years. 6 defendants went to trial. All were convicted. Marcus Thompson received 35 years in federal prison. The fallout at Miami International was immediate and comprehensive. TSA Administrator Pakoske announced that every TSA agent at Miami International, over 200 employees, would undergo enhanced background checks and financial audits. Those with unexplained wealth or suspicious activities would be investigated. Checkpoint procedures were overhauled. X-ray machines now required 2 agents to review scans simultaneously, eliminating single-agent approval. Random secondary screenings increased by 300%. And undercover DHS agents would regularly test checkpoints using fake contraband. The 17 corrupt baggage handlers exposed weaknesses in employee screening. Airport authorities implemented new security protocols. All airport employees now pass through metal detectors and bag checks equal to passenger screening. Random locker and vehicle searches became standard, and background checks for airport workers now include annual financial reviews. For passengers, the impact was minimal but meaningful. Wait times increased slightly due to enhanced screening, but surveys showed 89% of travelers supported stricter security after learning about the corruption. TSA's reputation took a hit, but the swift arrests and systemic reforms demonstrated that corruption would be identified and eliminated. The investigation revealed how cartels target trusted institutions. TSA agents, like Border Patrol agents and police officers, are supposed to be incorruptible guardians of public safety. But financial pressure, combined with lucrative bribes, can corrupt even those in positions of trust. The cartel's Miami operation proved that any security system is only as strong as the people operating it. President Trump addressed Operation Checkpoint Betrayal during a speech on border security and drug enforcement. TSA agents at Miami Airport were supposed to protect travelers. Instead, they took cartel money and waved drugs through security. They betrayed their oath, their colleagues, and every American who trusted them. But they were caught. They were prosecuted, and they will spend decades in prison. Congressional hearings examined how 23 agents could be corrupted over 4 years without detection. The answers were uncomfortable. TSA lacked robust financial monitoring of employees. Internal affairs investigations were under-resourced, and the agency had no system for identifying patterns of suspicious behavior at checkpoints. New legislation mandated annual financial disclosure for all TSA agents, random integrity testing using undercover operations, and increased funding for TSA Office of Inspection. By November 2025, the reforms are working. 3 additional corrupt TSA agents have been identified and arrested at other airports, Los Angeles and JFK, through the new financial monitoring systems. Random integrity testing has caught 5 agents who failed to detect planted contraband, leading to retraining or termination, and drug seizures at airports have increased 67% as non-corrupt agents, knowing they're being watched and tested, perform more thorough screenings. The 23 corrupt agents at Miami International destroyed their lives for money. Marcus Thompson, who earned $1.4 million over 4 years, will spend 35 years in federal prison. He'll be 73 years old when released. His pension is forfeited. His assets are seized. His family disowned him. And every day in prison, he'll know that he betrayed the very travelers he was sworn to protect. The Miami International TSA checkpoint where Thompson worked has a memorial plaque now, not for him, but for the honest TSA agents who refused corruption and reported approaches from cartels. It reads, "Integrity cannot be bought." It's a reminder that for every agent who took cartel money, there were dozens who said no and maintained the trust Americans place in airport security. If you believe these stories must be told, then like this video, subscribe to Truth America, and share this with someone who needs to understand that even trusted institutions can be infiltrated by cartels, but corruption will always be exposed. Because the vast majority of TSA agents serve with honor, and those who don't will face the full weight of federal justice.